Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including a fatal officer-involved shooting in Bridgeport and a boat fire in Stratford. Frank Granito will have a look at the forecast and a Nutmeg Sports update later on, and Donald Ang is back in studio with a look back on this day in history. But first, Connecticut State Police detectives are investigating an officer-involved shooting in Bridgeport where a suspect was killed. On Tuesday around 5 p.m., Bridgeport officers were attempting to stop a stolen motor vehicle on Park Avenue. The operator of that stolen vehicle allegedly refused to stop and engaged officers in a brief vehicle pursuit, with the operator of the stolen vehicle traveling the wrong way on Fairfield Avenue. While going the wrong way, that stolen car struck several vehicles. Once the stolen vehicle came to a stop, Bridgeport officers approached it in an attempt to apprehend the operator. As officers approached, the driver of the vehicle accelerated in reverse and struck at least one Bridgeport police officer. As a result, a second officer fired one round from their duty weapon, striking both the operator and the front seat passenger. The operator was pronounced dead at the scene. The passenger was transported to Bridgeport Hospital for evaluation of non-life-threatening injuries. Two Bridgeport police officers were also transported to the hospital with minor injuries. The identity of the operator is pending positive identification. The passenger has been identified as 21-year-old Julian Fief of Bridgeport. State police say they are currently looking for witnesses. And a boat was destroyed after it caught fire in the Housatonic River off the coast of Stratford. Stratford Fire Marshal Brian Lampart said a mechanic from Beacon Point Marina in Shelton had taken the 29-foot Formula boat on the water near Sikorsky Aircraft for a test drive around noon Tuesday when one of the engines exploded. Lampart said the mechanic, who was on the boat by himself, called over to another boat and got off the burning boat to escape. The burning boat was then stuck on a sandbar, and firefighters could not get close enough to put the fire out. Stratford Police and Fire Department Marine units were eventually able to reach the burning boat. No one was injured, and the boat was declared a total loss. Investigators from the State Department of Energy and Environmental Protection responded to the scene, and Stratford firefighters put containment booms in the water to contain any fluids going into the water there. And in other news, Catherine Berman, wife of ESPN sportscaster Chris Berman, was one of two people who died in a crash in Woodbury on Tuesday, according to state police. The Hartford Courant reports the double fatal crash happened around 2:15 in the afternoon on Sherman Hill Road on Route 64 near Tuttle Road. In addition to 67-year-old Berman of Peachtree Court in Cheshire, Edward Bertullis, 87, of Wells Street in Waterbury, was killed, according to police. Troopers are investigating the possibility that Bertullis suffered a medical emergency right before Berman's car crashed into the back of that vehicle. And in other news, state police say they captured a convicted felon Tuesday morning who allegedly assaulted two troopers on I-95 back in April. On April 22nd, troopers had stopped a car on I-95 northbound exit 27, and it was being driven by 33-year-old Robert Bowens of Ogden Street Extension in Bridgeport. Troopers located several illegal items contained within the vehicle. And at that time, troopers gave Bowens verbal commands in order to detain him, and he attempted to flee. They say an intense struggle ensued on the highway, and at some point during that struggle, Bowens produced a firearm, which they were eventually able to knock out of his hand. Bowens' family members eventually arrived on the scene, and he was able to break free and jump into a gray Infiniti SUV, which then attempted to drive the wrong way down I-95 northbound at the exit 27 on-ramp. Bowens and the operator of that Infiniti were met by backup troopers, and the Infiniti operator then changed direction and once again drove the wrong way onto the Route 8 southbound Exit 1 connector to I-95. Bowens was able to escape, and troopers received minor abrasions due to their struggle with him. Well, on Tuesday morning, following the culminating efforts of multiple agencies, Bowens was located in the area of Pearl Harbor Street in Bridgeport and taken into custody without incident. And a number of Reading residents were the victims of car break-ins between the evening of Thursday, May 4th and the morning of Friday, May 5th. According to police, 13 residents called the police department on Friday to report their cars had been broken into or that they were missing items from their cars. Cars parked on several roads were broken into, including Windy Hill Road, Werf Drive, Umpawag Road, Marchant Road, Guardhouse Drive, Pickett's Ridge Road, and Simpog Turnpike. And in other news, a new Netflix original series portraying teen suicide, 13 Reasons Why, has ignited a wave of concern from parents and school administrators in Ridgefield. Like many other neighboring districts like New Canaan and others across the country, Ridgefield Public Schools sent out a letter to parents concerning the show that has rapidly become popular among teens and middle school age children. 13 Reasons Why contains mature subject matter, including depictions of rape, drug use, and suicide. Ridgefield Superintendent Karen Baldwin wrote to parents that the content of the series is extremely graphic, with troubling scenes throughout each episode, which may be difficult for the teenage mind to watch and process in an appropriate way. The 13-episode series, based on a novel by Jay Asher, features a 17-year-old girl who commits suicide and posthumously reveals 13 tapes addressed to 13 individuals she feels were responsible. Baldwin acknowledged that an open dialogue about the subject is important, but said the show itself may cause more harm than good. Well, despite the controversy, that series has been renewed for a second season. And tensions ran high Sunday night in Reading at a special presentation on the Gilbert and Bennett wire mill development hosted by local artist Jane Philbrick, during which she questioned the transparency of legal proceedings related to that project. At one point during the event, Philbrick's presentation was interrupted by First Selectman Juliet Pemberton, who called aspects of the information being provided distortions at a minimum. Overall, the evening featured a 90-minute presentation at the Reading Community Center by Philbrick, who presented her Harvard-designed school master thesis on the Gilbert and Bennett site earlier this year. The event was produced as a vehicle to facilitate a community-involved discussion about the long-defunct wire mill site. But you can get a lot more on that story at thereadingpilot.com. Let's switch gears, throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at the forecast. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. And conditions are starting to warm up out there now. Temperatures heading back into the 60s today. We're going to see mostly sunny skies as well. An expected high of 68, and then we'll be increasing cloud cover moving in later this afternoon through the early evening. But we should start to see clear skies overnight, a low of 48 before Thursday morning. Tomorrow brings on more periods of sun and clouds during the day, an expected high of 65. A light breeze between 8 to 12 miles per hour tomorrow afternoon before cloud cover starts to increase again in the evening. Temperatures dropping down into the mid-40s, mostly cloudy on Thursday night, and that's the way the weekend will start on Friday morning. Mostly cloudy, cooler out on Friday. Temperatures in the low to mid-50s. Overcast conditions all day long Friday, and periods of drizzle are going to begin in the early evening. That drizzle is going to turn into on and off showers overnight with a low 46, and it will be wet and windy out on Saturday. We're looking at wind gusts of upwards of 30 miles per hour, possibly over an inch of rainfall, Kate, as Saturday we get our first dose of possibly those summer thunderstorms heading our way.
All right. Thanks so much, Frank. Well, we're going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Lang is back to give us a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and there's more local news after this.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now during the Drive and Discover event. Now through May 31st.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday, now at 3 locations: 131 Kings Highway North in Westport, the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue, Norwalk, and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Wild Birds Unlimited.
At Wild Birds Unlimited of Brookfield, get expert advice from our certified bird feeding specialists. We offer always fresh, clean seed that will be sure to attract birds to your home feeder. Experience our excellent customer service. Open 7 days a week. Visit us at 317 Federal Road, Brookfield.
Wild Birds Unlimited. We bring people and nature together.
You don't have to go far for authentic Neapolitan cuisine and renowned wood-fire pizza. Pizzeria Loretano of Bethel is a contemporary Italian bistro, specializing in authentic wood-fired brick oven pizza Napoletana. Pizzeria Loretano was named one of America's top 1,000 Italian restaurants in 2008 by Zagat, and recommended by Jane and Michael Stern on National Public Radio's Splendid Table. Located close to Bethel Cinema, we focus on quality, and our food is always made to order. Join us for live jazz Sundays from 6 to 8. Find our schedule, menu, and more at pizzerialoretano.com and like us on Facebook.
At Worcester School, we believe summer is a time for kids to be kids. We provide the safe and nurturing environment for them to find activities that match their interests and allow them to create lasting friendships. Summer at Worcester offers 7 weekly sessions at our Danbury campus from Monday, June 26th through Friday, August 11th for pre-K to grade 8. Find out more about our extended hours, new optional lunch program, and a new low price at summer@worcester.org or 203-830-3921. Summer at Worcester, experience the difference. Family and Children's Aid has been serving the community since 1809 and is now the largest outpatient children's mental health care provider in Western Connecticut. Our innovative services include providing shelter to homeless moms and children, substance abuse intervention, mental health counseling, and foster and adoptive services, among others. Our goal is to provide individuals and families a safe haven and hope for a brighter future. Find out more about us at fcaweb.org and call our Danbury campus at 203-748-5689. A Better View Window Cleaning Plus has been cleaning glass all over Connecticut for over 20 years. They also specialize in cleaning chandeliers, mirrors, skylights, tiles, and will power wash anything that needs cleaning. They hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and are fully insured and bonded. When you deal with a Better View, you're dealing with the best, not the rest. Call today for a free estimate, 203-284-8836, or visit them online, abetterviewcleaning.com. Welcome back to this, it's May 10th edition of your coffee break on the HAN Network, and I almost forgot that because it's been a while since I introduced this guy. He's been away. Donald Eng joins us now to take a look back on this date in history. Don.
Well, thanks, Kate. It is indeed May 10th, and thanks you for confirming that. And today we remember the second most famous incident of someone throwing something at President George W. Bush. First, though, we go back to 1773. Parliament in Great Britain passes the Tea Act. Now, it was designed to save the British East India Company by granting it a monopoly on the North American tea trade. The act allowed the company to sell tea directly to colonists, bypassing colonial importers, and it was intended to encourage the colonies to buy tea from the East India Company, thus implicitly accepting Parliament's right to tax them. That didn't quite work out the way Parliament intended, despite the fact that the tax lowered the price of tea considerably. Saying in the Revolutionary War era, 1775, about 80 colonial militiamen, led by Connecticut natives Ethan Allen and Colonel Benedict Arnold, capture Fort Ticonderoga on Lake Champlain in New York. The decrepit fort was nowhere near any strategic important location, and it was defended by about 40 men, and their families were there, and they were asleep when the attack commenced. Allen's Green Mountain Boys then looted the fort's liquor supply, while Arnold cataloged the captured armaments. The fort's guns were later dragged overland to Boston to drive the British out of the city. 1924, J. Edgar Hoover appointed director of the U.S. Bureau of Investigation that would later become the Federal Bureau of Investigation in 1935. He would reign over federal law enforcement until his death in 1972, a 48-year period. Finally, now we go to 2005 in the Republic of Georgia for this.
ABC's Pierre Thomas is down in Washington. Pierre, what happened?
Well, while the president was giving his speech, someone threw a device within 100 feet of the stage. Now, officials are telling us that a member of the Georgian police picked up the device. It actually hit a member of the audience in the body before the Georgian officials picked it up. Now, the odd thing here, Charlie, is that no Secret Service personnel actually saw this incident, and they were informed after the president had actually left the country.
You say a device. Do we know what it was?
Well, the Secret Service is saying they have not seen it, but the Georgian officials are describing it as a grenade.
Yes, on this day in 2005, Armenian Vladimir Artyunian attempts to assassinate President George W. Bush and Georgian President Mikhail Saakashvili by throwing a hand grenade at them. Now, the attempt failed because the grenade landed about 60 feet from them, and it didn't detonate because it struck a girl who was wearing a coat, and also he had wrapped the grenade in a handkerchief, which prevented the striker from releasing. He was later arrested,
sentenced to life in prison. He can only be released by presidential pardon, and if that ever happens, the U.S. wants him also. So not looking good for his future plans. That is your look back in history for today, May 10th, and I'm Donald Ng.
All right, thanks so much, John, and I'll see you at 12:30 for CT Pulse. We have some Trumbull news to talk about.
Looking forward to it.
All right, well, back to local news. U.S. Senator Chris Murphy released a statement after President Donald Trump fired FBI Director James Comey. Murphy said in part, no matter the mistakes Director Comey has made, the timing of his firing clearly suggests that President Trump is trying to influence or upend the FBI's investigation into his campaign's possible collusion with a foreign government. Murphy said it simply defies logic that President Trump, who made the FBI investigation of Hillary Clinton emails a centerpiece of his campaign, would all of a sudden convert to the view that Clinton was treated unfairly. Murphy has now called for an independent prosecutor, and you could read more on his statement at thewestonforum.com. President Donald Trump is also firing back at U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal on Twitter, but we'll talk more about that on CT Pulse at 12:30. Let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now for a Nutmeg Sports Update.
Thank you, Kate. And the HA Network was live at Tiger Hollow on Tuesday afternoon for an FCAC rivalry game between New Canaan and Ridgefield in girls lacrosse. For the third time in the past 4 games, Campbell Armstrong registered a hat trick in the first half, helping the Rams build a 6-goal lead. But fueled by a Caroline Colonel goal as time expired in the first, the Tigers clawed their way back to with 1 off of 5 unanswered goals. But in the end, it was the offensive depth of New Canaan that proved to be too much. 4 Ram players would score 3 or more goals in this one as they went on to win 16-10 against the Tigers. Let's take a look at the highlights from yesterday.
Finding some open players in front.
As they go in front, and it is Carly Bucci connecting. Give the assist to Braden Dial, and the Rams a 1 for New Canaan this season. Braden Dial, she gets to the front of the net. Bounce shot down low, and it goes 5-0 New Canaan.
What a pretty move there by Braden Dial. Gets by 2 defenders. Does that low shot where it bounces up and goes in the top part of the net.
And a nice pass down low. What a look. Bruno able to convert, so they invert off the last time. It is Bruno trying to free herself up for a shot. She let it go. Is it going to count? Yes!
What a big-time goal by Caroline Colonel. She kind of got to the point where I just got to throw a desperate shot up, and like I said, that's a big goal.
Guarded by Bucci. Making herself available as Hage. Cuts back to the left. Another shot here. She scores again. To solve Caroline Colonel in the circle, and that one won as cleanly as we have seen all day. Quickly up ahead. Dial at the front of the net, and she scores. Will do it as New Canaan is going to hold on and take this one 16-10. So congrats to the Rams. They move into sole possession of second place now in the conference. Ridgefield clinging to that 7th playoff spot, but they've got games on the schedule that can guarantee them a spot in the postseason. Looking around the FCAC in girls lacrosse as well, Fairfield Ward beat Norwalk 18-7. In boys lax, we saw some blowouts. Darien 23-0 over Norwalk. New Canaan 19-0 over Trinity Catholic. Ludlow holding on 12-8 against St. Joe's. Greenwich over McMahon 17-7. Staples, Ridgefield, Ward, and Yorktown winners. That Yorktown win against Wilton as the Warriors give one back in the Class L standings. In baseball, New Fairfield 3-2 over New Canaan, but the Rams still in first in the FCAC. Trumbull a huge 1-0 shutout win. Andrew Loico a 2-hit shutout pitching performance as Trumbull moves closer and closer to clinching a playoff spot. Softball, Ridgefield over Central, West Hill tops Ludlow, and Trumbull beats Bridgeport Central. We'll have a full breakdown of yesterday's girls lax game on Nutmeg Sports this afternoon, plus a preview of Darien and Norwalk girls lacrosse set for later today at 4:30. Coach Lisa Lindley looking for her 400th career victory. That'll do it for this Nutmeg Sports update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, on Sunday, May 7th, Archbishop Leonard Blair and the Office of Pastoral Planning of the Archdiocese of Hartford announced a comprehensive plan that reconfigures the 212 parishes in the Archdiocese in Hartford, Litchfield, and New Haven counties. Now, in Milford, this will mean the merging of St. Anne and St. Gabriel parishes into a parish called St. Raphael, and the merger of St. Mary and St. Agnes into the Precious Blood Parish. Christ the Redeemer will remain as it is until its minister retires, and then it will merge with St. Mary. Now, there's a lot more on those changes at milfordmirror.com. And Ridgefield Little League's plans for a new baseball field at the intersection of Route 7 and Simpog Turnpike, now named 2 Sanford Station Road, will be changing to fully comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act. Don Ciota, chairman of the Commission for the Disabled, wrote a letter to Ridgefield Planning and Zoning outlining a few modifications that should be made to the plans to ensure ADA compliance. Steve Scalzo, president of the Little League, said he has been working with Ridgefield ADA coordinator Tony Phillips, and the changes in Ciota's letter will be addressed. There's more on that at theridgefieldpress.com. And Joe Barlow High School's inaugural Fed Challenge team were national finalists. Kara Kropanoff-Salkin, Emma Thomas, Elizabeth Heyman, Melanie Zuckerman, and Catherine Wright finished as one of the top teams in the nation. Their task was to simulate a federal open market committee meeting and answer tough questions from a series of federal analysts through 3 rounds of competition. They were evaluated the American economy using multiple indicators of growth, inflation, and unemployment. But you can get more on that at thereadingpilot.com. We're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories we're following after this.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Sign-ups are now open for one of our most popular programs, the New England 80 Elite Lacrosse Division I and Division III showcases. With D1 and D3 coaches in attendance, players will receive a 60-minute webinar with Director of Recruiting Hans Hansen, a custom NE80 penny, custom shorts, and a video of all games. Last year's event sold out quickly, so sign up now for the next showcase coming in January 2018. Like and follow us on Facebook.
When it comes to considering the outside of your home, just imagine the possibilities. Whether your dream is a stunning freeform pool or a tranquil, secluded garden, the team of professionals at Stonebridge Associates will make it a reality. We offer unparalleled landscape design and construction, masonry development, pools, spas, and water features, as well as landscape and garden maintenance. No other firm can offer the same level of creativity, quality, and personal attention. Discover the possibilities at stonebridgeassociates.net or call 203-544-8376 today.
At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
On time, done right, safe and reliable. MrHandymanCT.com.
Let our satisfied customers tell it.
I have called Mr. Handyman for every reason, every occasion, every broken item, every leak. They have bailed me out on many occasions, and I would recommend them to anyone.
For any project, large or small.
MrHandymanCT.com.
Pizza to satisfy even the most demanding critics. Tuesday Pazza Pizza.
I'm Tracy Masella, a licensed clinical social worker at Silver Hill Hospital in New Canaan. Join me each month as we talk with experts on the front lines of the treatment of mental health and addiction. Straight Talk with Tracy, a Silver Hill Hospital production, airs at 12 p.m. on the second Thursday of each month here on the HAN network.
Welcome back to this Wednesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today. Connecticut State Police detectives are investigating an officer-involved shooting in Bridgeport, where a suspect was killed. On Tuesday at 5 p.m., Bridgeport officers were attempting to stop a stolen motor vehicle on Park Avenue. The operator of that vehicle allegedly refused to stop and engaged officers in a brief pursuit, with the operator of the stolen vehicle traveling the wrong way on Fairfield Avenue. Now, while going the wrong way, the stolen vehicle struck several cars along Fairfield Avenue. Once that vehicle came to a stop, Bridgeport officers approached it in an attempt to apprehend the driver. As officers approached, the operator of the stolen vehicle accelerated in reverse and struck at least one Bridgeport police officer. As a result, a second Bridgeport officer fired at least one round from the duty weapon, striking both the operator and front seat passenger. The operator was pronounced dead at the scene. The passenger was transported to Bridgeport Hospital for the evaluation of non-life-threatening injuries. Two Bridgeport officers were also transported to the hospital with minor injuries. The identity of the driver is pending positive identification. The passenger has been identified as 21-year-old Julian Fief of Bridgeport. State police say they are currently looking for witnesses. And a boat was destroyed after it caught fire in the Housatonic River off the coast of Stratford. Stratford Fire Marshal Brian Lampart said a mechanic from Beacon Point Marina in Shelton had taken the 29-foot Formula boat on the water near Sikorsky Aircraft for a test drive around noon Tuesday when one of its engines exploded. Lampart said the mechanic, who was on the boat by himself, called over to another boat and was able to get off the burning boat to escape. The boat was then stuck on a sandbar, and firefighters could not get close enough to put the fire out. Stratford Police and Fire Department Marine units were eventually able to reach the burning boat. No one was injured, and the boat was declared a total loss. Investigators from the State Department of Energy and Environmental Protection responded to the scene, and Stratford firefighters put containment booms in the water to contain any fluids that might go into the water. And in other news, Catherine Berman, wife of ESPN sportscaster Chris Berman, was one of two people who died in a crash in Woodbury on Tuesday. The Hartford Courant reports the double fatal crash happened around 2:15 in the afternoon on Sherman Hill Road, or Route 64, near Tuttle Road. In addition to Berman, who's 67 years old, the Peachtree Court resident, and she lives in Cheshire, Edward Bertulis, 87, of Wells Street in Waterbury, was also killed, according to police. Troopers are investigating the possibility that Bertulis suffered a medical emergency right before Berman's car crashed into the back of his car. And state police say they captured a convicted felon Tuesday morning who allegedly assaulted two troopers on I-95 back in April. On April 22nd, troopers stopped a car on I-95 northbound exit 27, which was driven by 33-year-old Robert Bowens of Ogden Street Extension in Bridgeport. Troopers located several illegal items in the vehicle, and at that time, they gave Bowens verbal commands in order to detain him, and he attempted to flee. Police say an intense struggle ensued on the highway, and at some point during that struggle, Bowens produced a firearm, which police were eventually able to knock out of his grasp. Bowens' family members eventually arrived on the scene, and Bowens was able to break free and jump into a gray Infiniti SUV. That SUV then attempted to drive the wrong way down I-95 northbound at the exit 27 on-ramp. Bowens and the operator of the Infiniti were met by backup troopers, and the Infiniti operator then changed direction and once again drove the wrong way onto the Route 8 southbound exit 1 connector to I-95. Bowens was able to escape, and troopers received some minor abrasions due to their struggle. On Tuesday morning, following the culminating efforts of multiple agencies, Bowens was located in the area of Pearl Harbor Street in Bridgeport and taken into custody without incident. Well, let's get one final look at the forecast with Frank. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. And again, starting to warm up out there today. We've got an expected high of 68 degrees, mostly sunny skies for the first half of the day. We'll see some increasing cloud cover later on this afternoon into this evening, but we should have clear skies overnight and a low of 48. Thursday, we're going to see a lot of the same sun and clouds throughout the day, a high of 65, a light breeze 8 to 12 miles per hour, cloud cover increasing again later in the day. It's going to hang around over Thursday night, carry into Friday morning. Cooler out on Friday, mostly cloudy during the day. Temperatures in the low to mid 50s. Overcast conditions are going to open up with drizzle in the evening, and that's going to turn into on and off showers overnight before a very wet and windy Saturday. We're looking at a nor'easter making its way in here, Kate, but we'll have more on that tomorrow and Friday as we get closer to the weekend.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, we're going to wrap things up here, but we have CT Pulse coming up at 12:30, Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock, and of course, Girls Lacrosse live on the HAN Network at 4:30. Be sure to check it out, and we'll see you tomorrow for your coffee break at 11.